This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. If you've been paying attention to social media over the course of the last few weeks, there's been a very raucous conversation, impassioned conversation about vaccine mandates and whether they're going to work. A lot of police unions have come out and talked about, where all these police are going to quit if you force them to get vaccinated, which tells me more about what their motivations are and priorities are than it does about vaccine mandates. That they're not willing to protect those around them, both their colleagues and also the citizenry. I'm getting off track here. But we got a call talking about vaccine mandates and the panoply of issues surrounding them.
Hello, Jesse. My name is Maximus Kane. I called once before, but I was hoping that you would do some sort of video or give us your opinion on, I'm in New York right now, on the healthcare workers who were protesting about the vaccine mandates for healthcare workers. A ton of them said they were going to quit, and today thousands of them caved and got the vaccine so they wouldn't lose their jobs. So I was wondering if you could maybe do a video on that, just to laugh at them or whatever. So thanks, love your show, keep it going, and that's it. I'll keep watching.
Right on. Thank you, Maximus. Appreciate the call. Yeah, the vaccine mandates thing is interesting. You really get to see the who's all about the talk, who's all bluster, who's all bark and no bite relative to vaccines. They want to throw a fit, cause a scene, like a tantrum. But when rubber hits the road, all these little sayings I'm using, they're stupid. When it comes down to it, they do the right thing. Because they're not really committed to losing their job. They don't really think getting a vaccine's a bad thing. They just want to make attention for themselves. I'm going to read a little bit from the Washington Post article that is in specific the rates of just how many people are refusing the vaccine, and it is scant. There's all the talk and all the bluster, but it just doesn't fly. I'm only going to talk about a few instances here. A union representing Massachusetts state troopers sought to make a splash this week in its fight against the state's coronavirus vaccine mandate. Dozens of troopers had submitted resignation paperwork over the mandate, the State Police Association of Massachusetts announced on Monday after an adverse court ruling. It suggested that the mandate-linked resignations would deplete an agency that is already critically short-staffed. Two bits of context were often lost in the coverage of the Massachusetts news. One was that the troopers come from a force of about 2,000. The news release did not specify a number, but the dozens could be as little as about 1% of troopers. And then we found out, this is not in this particular article, that like one person actually quit. One person actually followed through and quit. United Airlines, here's another case. United Airlines was one of the first big companies to adopt a mandate, and it announced this week that 98.5% of employees have been vaccinated. Just 593 out of 67,000 employees face being fired for refusing the vaccine. In your state, Maximus, talking about New York and the hospital system there. Most of the news on this front comes from hospital systems where there has been strong compliance. Here are the numbers in New York as reported by the New York Times on Tuesday. The entire system, an early indicator for vaccine mandates, has gone from about 3/4 of hospital employees and nursing home workers being vaccinated when the policy was announced a month and a half ago to 92% today. Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester, New York, announced a 95.5% vaccination rate. Albany Medical Center said only 200 of its 11,000 employees either did not get shots or did not seek exemptions, around 2%. Those employees were suspended and given a week to comply. St. Barnabas Hospital in the Bronx went from 20% unvaccinated as recently as last week to just 3%. They work. Mandates work. Rome Health in upstate New York said 98.2% are vaccinated after a late surge. And the Mohawk Valley Health System went up from 70% over the summer to 95.6% today. Other industries here, and the evidence is elsewhere, it says. Tyson's Food announced a vaccine mandate in early August. Since then, its vaccination rate has gone from 50% to 80%, with the deadline still with more than a month away. Truman Medical Centers, University Health in Kansas City, Missouri, was the first in the region to require vaccinations. Just 39 of 5,000 employees, below 1%, lost their jobs after the deadline passed last week. Here was a case that was in the news just recently. Houston's Methodist Hospital System, one of the earliest case studies this summer, lost only 153 employees out of 26,000, a rate of about 0.5%. Approximately 2% received exemptions. And finally, North Carolina's hospital system announced Tuesday that about 175 of its 35,000 employees, again, about 0.5%, were fired for refusing vaccines. So listen, this is a very vocal, loud, social media aware, tiny minority of people. We're not going to see our police departments crippled because of mass quitting or firing. People are going to comply because, one, it is safe. It is proven effective. It is free. There is no reason not to get vaccinated unless you have a legitimate, not some worked up in your mind diagnosis because you went online and did your research, but an actual diagnosis that would prevent you from getting the vaccine. And if you're not able to get the vaccine, that is all the more reason that I and everyone else needs to get the vaccine, to protect you, to create herd immunity, to ensure that the virus is not spreading willy-nilly all across the country and the globe. We need to protect the vulnerable. And if you find yourself in that position, that's who we're doing this for, not only for ourselves. Anyway, I hope that was illuminating. Hope that gave you a little information, Maximus. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it very much. If you would like to sound off, get your voice on the record, have me amplify you to my growing, but still, moderately small audience, you can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. That would be fantastic. I'd love to connect with you on social media. I'm at Dollemore all over the place. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. Just type in @Dollemore. I'm likely there, sneaking around, watching you, listening to you. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, consider supporting my work. If I bring you value, if I bring you a laugh or some information like reading from the Washington Post or whatever, consider supporting my work. I would appreciate it. You can go to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast, or you can do it right here on the YouTubes. Click on the join button below and become a channel member. Anyway, I sure do appreciate you guys. I love the community that's built up around this show, around my podcast. It is fantastic. It's good getting to know some of you. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.